Hello and welcome back to your favorite military news series. Now, the chemtrails have been working their magic this week as we have some real doozies for stories. And I've got some pretty strong opinions on these ones I want to share with y'all. So get ready, folks. Welcome to the Debrief. To start out the episode, we have a video article on the Navy Times website featuring an alcohol company's efforts to combating the veteran suicide epidemic.
22 Salute is a spirits and coffee brand that was created for the sole purpose of raising money for veterans and first responders regarding mental health and suicide prevention.
Yes, you heard that correctly, and honestly, you can't make this shit up. In the video interview, 22 Salute founder and CEO Rick Ranks speaks about his product and how he wants to meet veterans where they're at. Which honestly, I'm having a really hard time figuring out exactly what he means by this, whether it's literally at the bar or like emotionally where they're at in their alcohol dependency. Now, I'm not trying to hate on a person who is attempting to make a difference and assist veterans, because I truly believe that the intent to do better is present, but I am 100% sure he didn't think this one all the way through. And honestly, I can imagine how their first meeting went when they were trying to decide what to sell. He sits down, he's like, okay, y'all, veteran suicide is a big problem, okay? And I think I have an idea how to solve it. We should go to these veterans struggling inside and out of the military and sell them alcohol, because that doesn't contribute to the problem at all. You know, actual not so fun fact here. According to the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, one study on military personnel suggested that around 30% of completed veteran suicides were preceded by alcohol or drug use. And another not so fun fact is that from the Iraq and Afghanistan war, 1 in 10 veterans that were seen by the VA repeatedly admitted to having a problem with alcohol or drugs. And that stat is complimentary of the National Center of PTSD. Now, one of the absolute craziest ideas that this guy explained is their trademarked 22 shots concept. That they say that the best way to reduce suicide, or a way to reduce suicide, is to build connections. So they ask people to do 22 shots together with their friends and family. Yeah, that's 22. Everybody! What? First of all, I don't know about you, but 22 shots is an absurd amount of alcohol. What if the person only has one friend? What do? Split it and take 11 shots between them? Second of all, I'm all for having a beer or two with your buddies to build connection, but I think anybody who's done a little bit of drinking in their life knows that beer is okay in a social setting. But when someone breaks out shots, it's absolutely game over for the night. But folks, don't worry, because 22 Salute has put a suicide hotline number on the back of the bottle. Because after you're done taking 22 shots with your buddies, you're cross-eyed drunk, reading small print on a bottle, as we all know, is an extremely easy task. But like I said, I'm all for promoting awareness and raising funds for mental health and ending veteran suicide. I mean, I do it with my streetwear brand Kick God, but maybe 22 Salute should focus on raising spirits another way instead of distilling them and selling them to veterans. Focus on the coffee, Rick. But anyways, told you the chemtrails are working. Moving right along to our next story, and if you are one of those people worried about a near-peer Chinese invasion or ground conflicts with the U.S., go ahead and give yourself a moment of peace and clarity. On my own, I can be strong. Alone, on my own. because as a recent Chinese People's Liberation Army defector has claimed that there is widespread failure of leadership and mismanagement of funding that is severely impacting the Chinese military. And the reason why is quite interesting. Navy Lieutenant Colonel Yao Chang, a former staff officer for the Air Force in China, reported witnessing service members using bricks of solid missile fuel. That's right, solid missile fuel in order to heat their hot pot, which for those of you that don't know what hot pot is, it is a large bowl of broth that is heated and used to cook meats and veggies, kind of like fondue, but 10 times better. And honestly, if someone was like, hey, you can have some hot pot, but the only way you can heat it is using bricks of missile fuel, I'd ask, who has a lighter? Because this shit's delicious. One thing super surprising to me is that the type of behavior happening is in the Air Force, and if their Air Force is anything like our Air Force, they probably would have caterers out there giving them hot pot. But we all know the Air Force is spoiled, okay? But apparently not in China. And in addition to this, a staff officer is the one reporting this dilemma. And I don't know about you, but the staff officers that I worked with in the Army didn't go outside much, or in fact at all. So can you imagine the shenanigans that are actually happening in the field? It's most likely complete chaos, and it gives me a good amount of confidence that if we met the PLA on the battlefield, we'd kick the dog shit out of them. No pun intended. But I digress. Chang blames the conditions of the PLA on corruption in leadership and improper management of funding, claims that some units don't have any budget at all. And of course, this is only one person claiming this, but numerous sources have suggested that the PLA is undergoing a complete military purge, which gives me a nice warm and fuzzy that whatever is being said here could realistically be true, and that China is in no position to conduct a widespread conflict. So overall, my guess is that China will keep monitoring TikTok from afar, waiting for when a lower enlisted person posts an OPSEC violation and keeps their running tab on that, and there will be no way of us meeting them on the battlefield anytime soon. For our final story, military.com's top story, in fact, it's right there, right front and center on their landing page, and it is about how the Army is seeing a decline in white recruits. And for some reason, they think this is actual news that people care to know about. But my question is why? Not necessarily why they care or why the whites aren't joining, but why do they feel that people need to know that this is news? At the end of the day, when we put on the uniform, all of us are green, and combat doesn't care about the color of your skin. The Army in general is at an all-time low on recruitment numbers anyways, and to me, this article is just a testament to what the military has shifted towards in the past couple of years, which is emphasizing the importance of diversity and inclusion in the fighting force. And for this, the exact reason why they're hurting on numbers in the first place. They don't care about the content of your character. They don't care about how well you perform your job. All they care about now is literal demographics. This article is about as useless as a chocolate teapot, and you heard it from me. And stories such as this are the reason why we can't get away from making everything about white, black, brown, instead of red, white, and blue. Well, this is going to do it for this week's episode of The Debrief. If you enjoyed watching, make sure you let us know by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and tuning in to our other shows here on the PCFM Podcast YouTube channel, such as First Formation with Izzy and the video recordings of the podcast to get some extra content for you. Leave a comment below and tell me what you thought about today's stories. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next one. My name's Cameron Fath. And don't find your problems at the bottom of a 22 Salute Vodka bottle this weekend. Stay safe.